teams are out here trying to get like 8 cents on the dollar for JT Miller, right? Just mega pops, second round pick.
Well, the Canucks are overvaluing him too, right?
Big time.
Because they think that he could get like
he can be like the 100-point player again.
Yeah, but the thing is, they're accepting the fact that now the Canucks have to get like a future asset, like a first round pick, maybe a prospect.
I'd write it out now if you're Vancouver. I mean,
I don't know.
But
why rush now?
With Miller, his value just goes down.
It's decreasing
because he gets older and older.
It's already a depreciating value, and that contract ain't great either.
It's kind of like the Kessler situation where he holds all the cards in his hand because he has no movement too.
Yeah.
So now it's like, what do you do for the Canucks? You kind of just have to like,
But the good thing with Miller is I don't think he's limited to like 2 teams.
Yeah,
he's just like Eastern side prefers it. Whoever you guys get.
Or let me ask you guys then. You guys probably are more in tune than I. What's the move for Vancouver? How do they get out of this situation?
If I'm the Canucks, I make a bidding war between New Jersey and New York. I try my best because they obviously they don't want each other to gain on the asset. Yeah. Right. And I think New Jersey is probably the better fit over New York and they have the better assets for the Canucks. That just that prospect Simon Nemec, the defenseman.
Nemec, you think you're gonna move him?
Because he said himself, I shouldn't be playing in the AHL. I should be playing in the NHL.
He wants to. Yeah.
He's kind of like frustrated too. But he's like, if this doesn't change, then obviously I'm not asked for trade. He's like, right now I'm not gonna ask for trade, but like if this doesn't change in the future or anytime soon, then yeah, probably will.
And how is it gonna change? Because these guys they loaded up big time in the blue line in the off season, and they have some young guys there too. Yeah. And that's definitely a situation worth monitoring. I love that return for Vancouver. I think he's quality. Yeah. He was a highly touted too. Yeah, second overall pick, right?
Second overall pick in 2022.
Yeah. Right behind Slavkovsky.
I think.
I was gonna say like I was talking to Zach earlier. What about the Flyers?
You think Flyers make a playoff push?
Do a playoff push, but he can be a great.
Torts.
He is a Philadelphia player, right?
Yeah.
You got the Torts. You got the fans will love him depending on what JT like.
Who would you get from them?
I was just saying that you gotta check their
prospect
pool, but like if he's on it, he's gonna be a fan favorite.
But also, if you're the Canucks, do you want a prospect? Like,
I mean, at this point, you're gonna have to take a prospect, or you can take like a Kessler package with Spiza and Benino, and then the first round pick.
That wasn't too bad.
It's okay. The
Spiza, 4-4 OT.
It's not like it worked out well for the Ducks, anyways. They fucking flopped the shit out of that.
They had that one run. They couldn't get done.
But I don't think he was on that team when they had that run. Did they?
Yeah, he's the one that took out Ryan Johansson.
Oh, okay.
Remember Ryan Johansson was cutting promos on him.
Well, yeah, because Kessler was like taking the guy's hands off.
Kessler's a piece of shit.
Yeah, they hate each other.
But like Flyers got a few assets, right? That we Canucks will probably get back.
You know what it is? You gotta get for that boy. You know, they're probably gonna.
Mishkov?
You gotta somehow push.
What about like a deal around Owen Tippett or something like that?
Would they trade Owen Tippett?
How old is he?
25.
Where was this last year? Right? Where was this
I think
last year when that kid on whatever his name is that kid that was complaining on Philly.
Oh, that he's on the Ducks now.
He's on the Ducks.
Yeah.
You know that would have been perfect for this situation because you could have got rid of players that's complaining here.
Joe Fairbury is apparently like a guy that could be moved. Pretty sure he's on the trade board.
Boy that Danny Briere was trying to cut a promo on. Maybe trade for him.
Oh, it's one of those guys that were on the World Junior team.
Yeah.
Okay, so in terms of like the dollar value, right? Like, what do you think the market right now is for Vancouver? 50 cents on the dollar you get back on Miller? 60?
No, I think it'll still be like ideally in a perfect world. I think you get 3 pieces for Miller.
So you're thinking they still can get 80% of his value?
I think so because you just have to like.
Well, these packages are awful from New York. New York's offering everyone but their decent pieces. Like, these shitty ass fucking prospects. Why would you ever do that deal for Vancouver?
You don't.
Chris Drury's like thinking like he could finesse all motherfuckers out here. Dog, you caused this problem.
Trader Jim, yeah.
You're the one who caused the problem on your team. You gotta take the hit, dog.
I can see the Canucks pulling what they did with the Horvat trade too. Kind of just getting up. What do you got? A prospect, NHL player, and then a pick, first round pick.
Yeah.
That's what they got for Horvat. So probably like maybe a higher end prospect than Aturatu. An actual NHL player, better than Beauvillier.
Man, I don't know.
I think Sertaud's right at the they gotta grab that. They gotta get a bidding war going. Like you're not gonna win this. You're not gonna win this trade situation the way it is right now. You're just like. At this point, JP's right. You might as well just stick with what you got.
And then wait the offseason.
Because the way I look at it, okay, let's say there are a lot of teams who think they have a shot this year or even moving forward, right? JT's still a coveted piece. He can for any team that's in win now, that's a quality top 6 forward he can add. Yeah. If it gets to the point at the trade deadline where these teams get in a bidding war, like New York wants to one up New Jersey or vice versa, then I say move them. If not, you could probably wait till the offseason because I think you can still find a way to move him to some of these contending teams who's underachieved in the postseason, right?
Yeah.
Like let's see if Edmonton doesn't do well, or Edmonton's a poor example, but some of these other teams, they could probably look at the offseason. Let's go get JT.
Someone is gonna hit the panic button and be like, "We gotta get another big piece." Like at some point,
Dallas to me still seems like the perfect team, but I don't think like
they won't give up any.
Who's their top piece that they would give up? Stankoven and Johnson aren't going to get moved. I don't feel like
I'd move one of them if I'm Dallas.
I feel like they would have to, but I don't think they would want to. Because they're probably looking at they're looking at like Ben. I think Ben's contract's coming up, and then they're gonna look at Sega and be like, okay, we could still like win with these young guys still who are going to still be better as the years go.
Yeah,
right.
Like
where Miller is going to shorten your window up even more than it already is shortened, right?
Yeah, like Ben, Ben's probably going to be signed. Obviously not for like $9 million.
Yeah,
but like he probably get like what 3-4 maybe.
Yeah.
What happened on the Bo Byram front? Because doesn't Buffalo want to move him? It's just Vancouver just decided we're not going to even touch that at all.
I don't know if Buffalo's interested or at all, or if they're even in talks.
But he looked good yesterday though, Byram. Yeah. Just the way he skates.
Carolina's the other team that's interested in him.
Boys.
the rumored
Kotkaniemi
package is Kotkaniemi.
Yeah.
Who scored 2 goals? He scored twice yesterday. He's getting that value going up.
Yeah.
And Roslovic.
Oh my goodness!
So if this is because these trades aren't
no
in it at all.
Definitely, if I'm a Canucks fan, I wouldn't want to
move him.
Yeah, it'd be very underwhelming.
At this point, you just ride it out until the offseason, I guess, right? And then you see, because most teams can move more assets in the offseason than
or even like closer to the deadline. I think like the way the Canucks are playing, like if you're gonna be playing like win one lose one, you're not making the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
So if by the trade deadline, which is less than 2 months now, I think it's like 6 weeks. See what happens, right? And then if you know you're not gonna be making the playoffs. Okay, re-up for next season, trying to get a better package, put a bidding war against like the Devils, Rangers, heck, whoever else is like thinking maybe like Ottawa, for example, just about anyone, right?
Yeah.
Just try to drive out that price.
Can you pull up the standings real quick, Suraj? I just want to see where the hell the Rangers are standing because
Rangers they're like a 500 team right now.
They're close to the wildcard spot.
I know they're close, right? But like, say it's near the trade deadline, and they're gonna start panicking at some point.
They're 2 points out of the wildcard spot.
Yeah, 2 points out. Like, say they keep fighting for that wildcard spot, and they don't know if they can make it. I guarantee they're gonna push the panic button and try to get a big piece.
Yeah, right.
And I think that's when the Canucks need to strike. I don't think the Canucks should force any trades right now. They should just keep denying it until they get a better price for Miller. Because there's no point of forcing a trade right now.
I agree with Zach. I think that's the proper strategy, especially considering that the dominoes have yet to fall, and we haven't even gone to the trade deadline yet. So what's the point of? And you've canvassed around the league. The offers ain't it, then who cares? You still have JT. You're still in a win now mode if you're Vancouver, right?
Yeah.
You can't be going in a rebuild.
You can't.
I get what you're saying. Should've with if I'm Vancouver, I want something more. I want like a retool. Like years past where they should have been rebuilding, they went for all these retool trades. Now's not the time for a rebuild trade though. Now's the time for a retool trade if they trade them.
But I think the way they do it is they'll go for assets and then flip those assets for another piece. That's what they've shown they've done with the first round pick they got for Hronek. I'm sorry, Horvat, they flipped that for Hronek, right?
Right.
So that's what they're probably going to end up doing with whatever asset comes back from for Miller.
Right.
Whatever young asset or future asset comes up for Miller.
The reason I said that, I see what you're saying, and that is a fair point. But Vancouver's already like thin enough on the top end, right? If you rebuild in a trade for JT, then you might as well punt the whole season. You might as well punt next season.
Yeah.
Right.
How are you going to get rid of that massive hole there? You have to retool or get like 2 decent players if no one's going to be giving up any solid players back. Because could you imagine the Canucks top 6 if they trade for like prospects and they get rid of JT Miller?
All you have is Patterson down the middle. That's it.
There's also the me and Razak hint at it from time to time, but like Quinn Hughes' contract is up in 3 years, right?
Yeah.
After this season, or is it including this season?
I think after. No, I think this is included.
I think it's 2 more years after.
2 more years after.
Right. So
they need to build something around this guy now. They have to get to.
Way too good.
They need to show at least 2 years of the. No, actually, they need 2 years for sure of playoff hockey for Quinn Hughes to be like, okay, at least you guys are trying to do something.
You know what? I think regardless, I don't think he's like there's a chance he might leave. This slight chance, but I don't think he leaves. Even though if but they owe it to him to at least build a good team in his prime.
Yeah.
Like this is like him kicking into his prime, and you can't just waste those years. Fucking having a fucking civil war in your own goddamn team over here between 2 players that aren't even the best players on the team.
Right.
They're the second, third. Even at some point, last year you would probably consider them third and fourth if you were out Demko over those two at that point, right? Like even right now, like you can't solidify any of these. Any of these two can't even solidify number 2 at this point either. the way they're playing.
I think like the one guy I'm surprised that nobody's talking about in terms of trading him is Brock Besser. He seems like a more likely move this year than
the contract's
Miller.
up, and
the Canucks apparently don't even believe in this core anymore. Like the Bessers and Miller.
1 year. 1 year is how long it lasted.
They're like, yeah, they don't got the
it's
dog.
not 1 year though, right?
But it's been multiple years of them not.
It's been a while now with this core.
Yeah.
No, 5 years of fucking retooling in this core.
No, but they've been trying
1 year.
They've been trying to make the playoffs since 2020.
Yeah.
Pardon me?
They've been trying to make the playoffs since 2020.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Could you imagine blowing it all up? 5 years of them trying to struggle, like you're saying.
No, but then
they probably should have made the playoffs 2 years ago.
But it's not a blow. It's more of a
coaching changes too with this core.
It's also not a blow up. It's more of a retool too. Like you're
Travis Green ain't the one. Right? I knew from day one he ain't the one.
Right.
I think what they end up doing is trying to get as much future assets to flip after, anyways, just to get different assets. Because if some of these teams that can't move, don't want to like trade a roster player for Miller or Besser, they're gonna give you futures, and you trade those futures to teams that have those rental players or the players that have maybe a contract coming up or are like in a different part of their career than the team is. Yeah.
You know what, JP? At the end of the day, it's a different league because now look how long it took Oilers to finally get McDavid and Leon in the playoffs consistently. It took them like 10 years of these guys, like 7 seasons of McDavid and Draisaitl, like
exactly
doing nothing, and then
those are the two best players in the world.
The two best players that do nothing, and it wasn't like they were putting up numbers. They were putting up numbers.
But look at Vegas and Florida, like a proper front office, they get it done, man. 2-3 years, they flip the whole team, and
that's
like a unit.
That's a proper front office.
Yeah.
That's a proper,
Jim Rutherford and Patrick Lemon, that's a proper front office too.
That's also a proper front office with a proper owner that wants to win now.
But Aquilini, to his credit, he seems to be taking a step back these last 2 years compared to what he was doing in the past.
I think it's because he has like a middleman now because Rutherford stepped in, right?
Yeah.
Rutherford's kind of like the barrier between him and the actual front office, where before it was just him directly to Benning, but like, get the shit done, and Benning would just fumble the bag every time.
It is Rutherford, right? He's like he's solid. He should be. I don't know. Like this is unexpected from him. Like for one to have to linger on, and like he's usually like very proactive. Like he probably would have, like if something was underlying, you would think he would have moved him, right? Like a long time ago before any rumblings came out. Complete opposite in Vancouver. It's like a soap opera. Every day these guys are leaking information, shitting on PT, right? Like it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
What about this trade package? There's one more. New Jersey with the Nemec. You throw in, let's face Mercer, who's like a right shot defense forward, right shot center, 23 years old, and then I think people were saying throw in Andre Palat to get that contract off their books.
So that's how you sway them to get rid of Nemec. Yeah. Right? Like, we're going to take that back.
We'll take the Andre, or you do Palat and Nemec for...
Nemec is the defenseman?
Yeah, defenseman.
I would take the trade, to be honest.
For sure. Yeah.
Like
and I like Palat, too. Even though he's like a $6 million player, he's still a good winger who's won two cups with Tampa. And he was great for those Tampa Bay teams back in the day.
But, okay, like, Nemec is like an A-level asset for New Jersey, right? Yeah. And, like, what we saw from the New York offer was, like, at best, you're getting B-level assets back.
But that's a New York offer too, right?
New York is...
New York's trying to lowball the Canucks so hard. Like, I don't know why.
New York been lowballing every motherfucker they can, right? They didn't try to do that. They've lowballed their own captain.
They tried to pay Zibanejad.
At first it was bad for Miller 1-for-1.
But Zibanejad didn't want that.
I would have done that deal. Easily.
Zibanejad wouldn't wave to Vancouver, though.
So he can't handle the pressure. That's why
he doesn't want to smoke. He's like,
he can't even handle the pressure in New York. What pressure he can't handle?
Shit, what you mean 40 goals?
1 year,
6 years ago,
pre-COVID. This guy hasn't been good since. If anything,
I still do that deal.
If there's only one player, if you're going for 1-for-1, there's only one player you're taking. You're taking Lafreniere, or you're not taking anybody.
I would take Schneider. I'll take him too.
Oh, you take him 1-for-1?
Probably one and whatever.
But would you take Miller for Lafreniere 1-for-1?
Yeah,
I would take that trade.
I wouldn't do that too.
Why not?
I don't believe in him.
I think Lafreniere is a good, solid second line.
But I think you have to add like another pick in there too.
Yeah, but like Miller's a top line guy, right? So you can still get top line value though.
He can handle it. He can play like a Mitch Marner. You don't think? I believe.
You're giving up a top end winger who put up 100 points last year for a guy who might be a second line winger.
He ain't a 100-point guy anymore. I'm sorry to break the news to you guys. He ain't him. I know. I've seen him play. Yeah. You know what? The only thing he has going for him is someone chin checks him and puts him in his place. He has to go to a team because if he goes to New York, I don't see anybody else do that. Like he's probably.
I don't think any team can chin check him now, right? At this point in his career, because Lundqvist couldn't do it. You think anybody else would do that?
I think if he goes to if he ends up
and nobody did it in that New York Rangers locker room, then who's gonna do it in any other locker room? Zach?
They didn't have. Wait, I'm shocked that McDonough didn't do shit like that. You know.
This is going to be the process of him getting chin checked, though. It's already happening, right? Like he's seeing how the market, everyone's reacting to this guy. Like, yo, we had enough of your shenanigans.
He's too much of a vet to get chin checked now, I think.
No,
but I think
if you're acting like that,
hockey's all about respect. Nobody's gonna come up to you and be like, "Yo, I'll cut that shit out." I mean, Luke Shen tried to do it when he was in Vancouver, like on the ice, like chill.
Yeah.
But like, nobody can chin check this guy, right? He's Hulk Hogan.
Unstoppable.
He's Hulk Hogan. Hulkamania, brother.
Right.
Well, guess what? Hulk Hogan got his ass chin checked too. Right? He was gone for a little bit there too.